Well, I'm either an inspired genius or a consummate ass and complete buffoon.
Inspired genius. This activation was amazing and I can't recommend it enough. Just look at this summit. This is the kind of summit we all dream about. Now, let's go over the details. The trail up to the top of Juniper Peak is a multi-user trail that's popular with motorcycles, although on this side of the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, popular is a very relative term. I didn't see a single other soul the entire time I was up here. If you see other people, I would just be polite to every other trail user. It's a huge forest. The trail gains 1,600 feet in 2 miles. It's short but steep. The woods are lovely, but also, you won't have cell phone service until you get pretty close to the summit, so keep that in mind. There is a nice exposure about halfway up that gives you a preview of what's to come. There's a nice view of Mount Adams and a view of the peak you're hiking to. The activation zone is on the peak to the right side of this frame. I'm glad I took my mountain bike to the top of this peak, as it allowed me to pull off a gray line activation as signals propagate better as the sun sets, especially on 20 meters during this part of the solar cycle. The way that bringing my bike helped me with that evening activation of a summit is that it shortens the return trip significantly. That said, there was a lot of getting off the bike to push on the way up. I mean, this is still a steep trail and nothing is going to change that. But if you have an e-bike, man, that's the ticket right there. An e-bike and a nice size backpack, this would be the perfect spot. It's a moto trail. You're not going to offend anybody, right? You just climb up it on your e-bike.
I guess this is notable or worth mentioning. This is a common feature on the whole Juniper Ridge Trail. It's just sections like this where it's both dry and steep. It gets pretty chewed up. So just it's baby heads. But plan accordingly. Also, like, if you were planning on taking your moto up here, just know that this is, I'm just showing you this to give you an idea of the skill level required. Okay, when you get to these 3 forks, 2 things. You're almost there, and they all go to the same place. They're just, adventure lines and safety lines that the motos have created. So just go up whichever one feels easiest. Okay, so this is a little more challenging than I anticipated, because I was thinking the actual Juniper Peak was here, this ridge, but it's not. It's this really rocky thing up here. I can still do it because it says 209 feet of elevation remaining, 612 feet away, so that's that. I just have to, I'm not gonna be able to carry the stuff in my bike frame. Maybe I'll just grab the frame bag and take it with me, because obviously I can't push my bike up that. 45 degrees Fahrenheit, great. It's a little chillier than I was hoping for. Okay, I think I have everything I need in my pack with me. Just had to do a little transfer from the frame bag. I brought the carbon fiber mast because I had a feeling, well, I mean, I can't fit the beefier, stronger fiberglass one in there anyway. Well, 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 this will do. Okay. Well, let's get this set up. Make sure all my links are hooked up. This is the kind of summit you dream about. Okay, it's free and clear, plenty of room. This is an awesome summit. Look at that, there's dirt bike tracks. Somebody got their dirt bike up here. Thoroughly impressive. So one of the tricks is I have these little yellow bags. I ordered way too many of them on Amazon, but they're useful for, so when you need to make an anchor, you just get some rocks. I mean, even one rock will do, right? anchor. Yep. All right. There's another anchor. So what I'm doing here is my antenna wires are also my guy wires. Because believe it or not, your dipole does not need to be perfectly in line with itself. It works fine if it's not. Oh, I love all these handy rocks up here. Kilo Delta 7, Quebec Oscar Whiskey, CQ Soda.
Kilowatt Alpha 6, Uniform Golf Sierra.
Kilowatt Alpha 6, Uniform Golf Sierra, QSO.
QSO, give me your call again. I heard Pagoda, and that's about it.
There were some challenges with this activation. One thing that wasn't a challenge, by the way, was the cell phone coverage was great up here. I was even able to post my summit. I was able to upload my ADIF file straight to the SOTA data from the summit and just get it out of the way. But anyway, one thing I've learned about activating late in the day like this, though, is that SOTA chasers aren't always around later in the evening. They seem to go to bed pretty early. But Juniper Peak is inside the boundaries of the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, and once I spotted on Parks on the Air activators seem to be up all night, or not Parks on the Air activators and chasers. Anyway, it's casting a wider net. Parks on the Air always seems to be a pretty good way to, I've saved a few activations by spotting on Parks on the Air. Anyway, once I did that, I started making contacts. Also, I made the majority of my QSOs on 40 meters, which makes sense for this time of day. The end-fed half wave I used performed admirably, no complaints. Overall, the day ended with 11 QSOs over the course of about 20 minutes of calling. The longest distance contact was all the way into New York on 20 meters, so not bad. 7 of the QSOs were on 40 meters and 5 were on 20. Ultimately, I had to cut the activation shorter than I would have liked to, as it was about 40 degrees Fahrenheit on the summit, and I hadn't come prepared for the cold weather. I mean, it was late July. I thought it would stay a little warmer, a little bit longer, but it is, over 5,000 feet elevation, so this can be expected. Because my plan was to stay up here into the night and see if I could get more long-range contacts on 20 meters as the sun set, because I have 2 really big lights for my bike, so I wasn't worried about being able to get back down. But it just wasn't going to happen, not with the temperature. I was so cold when I got down to this. I'm glad I at least wore pants, I suppose. I did try to make some VHF contacts at the end of the activation without success. There is a lot of terrain between this summit and local population centers. Plus, like I said, most of the SOTA chaser crowd, it was probably already in bed, and very few people anyway are going to chase you from Parks on the Air on VHF. It's just unusual. In any case, this is a great summit. There's a good dry camping spot at the bottom where I spent the night after the activation, and I think this one should be on your list. Now, get out there and go make some contacts. 73.